And we have one final alumni panelist, and he is in person actually. And Zach, I think you'll have to come up here to talk. You've done this before, though.
Sounds good.
One thing I have to say, what makes him a little bit more special, at least in my eyes, I feel kind of like a proud mama, partly because Zach, he was one of our tutors in the Writing and Multi-Literacy Center, but secondly, he was a two-time Plot-A-Thon winner. He won Best in R as was it 2023? Right? Yeah, and then Best in Python in 2024.
Yeah.
So, and now he's graduated. He graduated last year, got a great job, and he's going to be here to tell us a little bit more about the kind of data that he works with in his work.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. Hello, everybody that's here. Hi, everybody online. So yes, my name is Zach. I graduated just a few months ago, right, in the last semester. I'm very happy to be here. And I work for Northrop Grumman, which is an aerospace company. If you guys are familiar with the B-2 bomber, that is, Northrop's claim to fame. And I'm actually an HR assistant. And I want to give you guys some practical applications of what you guys will learn here in Plot-A-Thon and how it's going to help you grow in your career right as you get started, right? Because that's really where I'm at. The two other speakers gave a beautiful, amazing data analytics that have taken, I'm sure, years of experience to build out. I'm going to get right down to the root of just showing you some stuff on Excel. And I'm actually super happy to see that the other speakers covered such a wide range. And I think you guys are going to get a good flavor of the diversity that data analytics is, right? So let's see if I could get some of my stuff open, because I think it's on the desktop. So I'm just going to share this whole screen, hopefully. Well, let me pull up the stuff and then I'll share it. So just give me 1 second to open some stuff. I'm going to start just minusing all of these, and great. All good. Is the Excel on here too?
Yes.
Oh, right here. Okay. Oh, I opened the wrong thing then. Let's do this. So just give me 1 second. I apologize. Yeah, we're building. Thank you. We're building anticipation here. Yes, I will. Let me open the Excel as well. So to get us started, hopefully I can multitask as these open and start telling you the story. So when I started at Northrop Grumman, now, very technologically advanced company. So what I'm about to say was shocking to me and should be shocking to you, but it is not a representation of overall how Northrop Grumman handles, because it is a very technologically advanced place. But it just so happened that week one, I come in and hopefully you guys can see this. Goodness, there's so much on the screen. Hopefully everybody on Zoom can see my Excel. Can I get somebody to unmute? Maybe one of the speakers can unmute and give me a verbal.
We can see it.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, now we're getting started. Now we're cooking with some fire. So when I started about a week in, I am told, hey, so we have, again, HR, so we're trying to make sure that there's no time fraud going on. Time fraud is when somebody in a system puts that they've been working for a few hours, but in actuality, they're at home. We don't like that that's happening, but luckily Northrop Grumman is a very secure facility. So people are badging in and badging out, and we have the data for the badging in and badging out. Now, week one, week two, I get there, I say, hey, I'm an HR assistant, so I do administrative and data analytics stuff, but I really want to lean into that data analytics. I want to develop those skills. They were super happy to hear that. And they're like, awesome, we want you to do a badging audit. So you're going to look and make sure that what these people are saying is lining up with what's going on. So with that being said, here you go. And they hand me a packet of papers and a highlighter. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm told about data analytics, I don't necessarily expect papers and a highlighter. I was like, what century are we in here? And they're like, well, this is what we got to work with. We got to make sure that these badging in and out are correct. And I was like, can I get the PDF or the Excel file? They're like, no, we only have it in a PDF. I said, cool, email me the PDF and I'll convert it to an Excel file and we'll get started. And then the HRBP, who does not do data analytics, in their defense went, you can convert a PDF to an Excel file? So I then got emailed the PDF, got the Excel file, and this is where I take a pause and say, for the purpose of Northrop Grumman, I am not speaking officially on their behalf, nor am I in any official capacity a representative of Northrop Grumman. Rather, I'm sharing you data that I have used at Northrop Grumman as a Northrop Grumman employee. Secondly, all of the data I'm about to show you is purely made up sample data from me. Because Northrop Grumman is proprietary data, I would not be allowed to share any of it. So with those two things out of the way, it looked something along the lines of this. It was a bunch of disarrayed times, and now that AM and PM are embedded in there, but we won't worry about that. And a bunch of activity, and the date and times are in the same column, really messy data, but I was like, I can do it. And now, for the sake of time, I won't bore you with the explanation, but basically I was able to get Python up and running, and I separated the dates and times into two different categories. So anytime it ran into February 1st, any date, it said, oh, I know that this is a date. And it made a new column, put it next to the times, and until it ran into a new date, it then would stop that date, put it next to the times for the new date, and keep doing the same thing. And then I had it ordered in the proper order of what they would badge in and badge out. And then I simplified it down to exits and entrances. So after I got a hold of it, it looked something like this. We can see that a person, this sample person that's make-believe and hypothetical, badged in at 7:30 on February 1st, and their last badge out was 5 o'clock, right? And so I was able, luckily, with what I learned at Plot-A-Thon, to implement what was going on here. And I was able to see, okay, this person exiting and entering different spaces for a variety of reasons. But this exit, I knew based on the metadata, was at the front. And this entrance was also at the front. So that means that this person has left for about 3 hours totally unaccounted for. And we see it every day going on. So with that, I was able to deduce, as kind of a data investigator, I was able to go, yeah, we got something going on here. I think they're taking a really long lunch and saying they were there the whole time. And that's a practical thing I was able to do and actually send up the chain. And then I got to present it in front of the entire HR for my section, because again, Northrop Grumman is massive. So there's a bunch of HRs for different sections. For my section, I was actually able to present this and say, hey, this is a code I worked on. If you have any badging audits, send it to me. These used to take you guys hours. I'll make them take minutes. And because of that, I was able to have some practical things given to me. I was actually connected with a data analyst, like full-time data analyst at Northrop Grumman, because again, I kind of straddle administrative and data analyst role. And I was actually, now this is still in the works, we'll see, but after only working there for 4 months, I was actually given the opportunity. Somebody threw an application my way and said, hey, we'll see, where it goes, but we'd like to throw your application into the pile of a Workday data analyst, which is for the HR information system. Now, it was a super long way of saying that the skills you will be learning here at Plot-A-Thon are very practical skills. They're not only skills that will help you decipher the data you're given, but skills that you can leverage to make you climb the corporate ladder a little faster. Now, for the sake of time, I did have a second example that I'm looking at the time. I don't think I should go through. But the long story short of it is that with all of this data, you can deduce a lot of different things about a company. So again, with this made up sample data, I could see, and I put these here just in case we were going a little too long, so I don't have to do it by hand. We could see that in this made up section of randomness that has no tie to Northrop Grumman, in this hypothetical, that it actually is. I genuinely, and an AI made the data set for me, and it was actually a little disappointing. So many of the names repeated, but you could see that this vice president is over 506 people, because there's 2 of them. There's 1 for every 506 people. And this is what we call scaling in layers. This is something practically I have to do for my job. How many managers do we have over how many employees? How many directors over those managers? How many vice presidents over those directors? We can also see different things about attrition. So again, I wish I could show you all I did for here, but basically this is a graph that I would have shown you why these are grouped, but that is showing us the different attrition pools for different labor groups. And so that's the kind of data I'm working with, both the stuff I assigned myself, where I can kind of create it efficiency, but also the things that are assigned to me like this, looking at attrition by group, which is why are people leaving the company and who's doing it? Looking at headcount, how many people are over how many people? So that moves me over to my slideshow. So I'm gonna stop sharing and reshare. And now we're moving into my takeaways for you guys. So why does it matter? Why does all of this matter for the Plot-A-Thon? And once this shares, I have some super simple takeaways for you guys. Assuming that I can share it, right? Hopefully, is it up there? Oh, maybe, maybe not. You know what? We might just have to, yeah? Oh, we love it. Okay, so some very simple takeaways for you guys. So plot, it's not sharing online? Is it sharing online or no?
It froze for a second, but it might
Okay.
be loading.
Should I just open it in the, Well, I super appreciate that. For the sake of time, instead of figuring that out, we're just gonna, you guys know it's in a slide deck, so we're just gonna go through it. So, firstly, listen, it looks prettier when it's presented. You don't have these ugly shapes, but these are some of the planes we make. This is on the top left, the B-2 bomber, and then the bottom right is the new generation of the B-2 bomber that was announced 2 years ago called the B-21. So, for those that are new to data, I have 3 very simple takeaways. If the Plot-A-Thon is your introduction to data analytics, number 1, be a sponge. What I mean by that is just take in as much as you can and don't worry about what's left behind. Absorb all that water and know some of it is going to fall through, and that's okay. We want you to be a sponge and be able to take in everything that you can take in without worrying about not grabbing every single note. I don't want you to walk away thinking, what is all that stuff that Zach did today? I want you to walk away thinking very practically, once I learn I can leverage this for my career growth, and Zach told me not to worry so much, but to just absorb as I can. Number 2, take advantage of your resources. CSU Channel Islands has amazing resources that even when I was here, I felt like were a little underutilized, and I was happy to see that growing, and I think that momentum is continuing. And so when you're here at Plot-A-Thon, man, use those resources, use the connections, reach out later, ask about a data visualization. When you're in the competition, ask the mentors that are there. And then finally, approach data with patience and curiosity. Something that's discouraging about data is how frustrating it can be. It could feel like you're trying to move a mountain with a little mouse. And what I want to tell you to do is to approach it with patience and curiosity. Be ready for the data to take a while and not do what you want it to do at the first part, but be curious about what the result is. With that curiosity, it will fuel you past the frustration, and you'll be able to see what you want to see because of your curiosity. And finally, here are some critical skills that Plot-A-Thon will teach you because they taught me. Number 1, it's a resume builder. This is a conversation starter for your career. So unfortunately, I did not do internships. 1, as an aside, do internships. Very good. But I didn't. Luckily, I had the Plot-A-Thon and InterVarsity Christian Fellowship as well, which is a separate club I was a part of, to really build up my resume. And that's why, as a college graduate, I was able to work for Northrop, which is not a very common thing you see. Number 2, you get hands-on data work. So you guys are going to work with real data to get real results. I looked at Yelp and used Python to find out what attributes made a place more popular based on correlation. I shouldn't say made, but correlated with more popularity. Those are real things that you can talk about, and I did talk about in interviews. 3, data storytelling. This is super important. Every speaker has touched on this. You want to communicate data in a way that actually captures attention. You don't want people's eyes to glaze over the moment you bring out the spreadsheets. You want to be able to say, no, this is an actual thing that's going on that will tell us how our labor is reacting to our decisions. This is how we make sure that our people that are new 1 to 2 years aren't dropping like flies because we can attend to these areas. So make it practical and tell a story through it. And then finally, Excel competency. I know that's an odd last point to end on, but I actually think it's very important. I was so into Python that I didn't spend a lot of time in Excel. And when I got to my job, I realized, oh my goodness, do I need Excel? No matter where you end up, Excel is a super important tool to use. So Plot-A-Thon will teach you that. And I would even encourage you to grow it further. look up a few videos on important Excel functions to use, look up a few videos on what a pivot table is, and be able to move into your interview saying, yeah, I've got Excel. So all of that said, thank you so much for having me here. Hopefully after Plot-A-Thon, you too, if are ever handed a piece of paper and a highlighter, will be able to turn it into an Excel sheet that can leverage you for your career growth. Thank you so much. Oh, also a side note, if you find me on LinkedIn, Zachary Sullivan, you'll probably find me because I'm connected with Sohi. Because Northrop Grumman is a big title, I have a bunch of random people connecting with me. So if you want to connect with me, I would love to. Please put a comment that just says Plot-A-Thon or PAT. You can just put PAT, just because like I don't want random bots connecting with me and then they try to sell somebody that's connected with so feel free to connect with me. Put Plot-A-Thon in the title. Thank you so much.